Woman has filed a lawsuit against a Florida dairy farm alleging her toddler became sick from consuming raw milk and that she ultimately lost her unborn child after becoming exposed to the milk. Rachel Maddox is suing Keely Farms Dairy, claiming that she was, quote, unaware of any potential dangers when she purchased the raw milk for her family.
While Maddox herself didn't consume the milk, she says she went on to contract the infections after caring for her sick child, and alleges that the infections resulted in the loss of her unborn child around the 20-week mark of pregnancy. The lawsuit is seeking compensatory damages and relief. Now, this is the same farm that is linked to an outbreak of infections this month, with 21 people falling very, very ill. So let's bring in Chief Legal Analyst Keely Farms. First of all, if you don't know that there are dangers or how milk is made and it's sold in the store, like it was in Florida, is there a legal foot to stand on here? Does she have a case?
She has potential cases. Let me say this, and obviously you don't want anyone to go through what she had went through, obviously with a sick child, going back and forth to the hospital a number of weeks. That's problematic, right? Contracting the disease and getting sick yourself, problematic. Losing your unborn child, another problem. So there have been a number of problems that are mounted up. But this is a cautionary tale for, like, first of all, not following a lot of social media influencers, because that's what folks do. These influencers are really talking about the medical impacts of raw milk. And what is raw milk? It's milk that hasn't been pasteurized. Well, what happens in the pasteurization process? It's killing the bacteria because they're boiling the milk. And so if you have folks that don't have medical degrees, that aren't scientists, that haven't went to school to actually learn and to figure out the negative effects that digesting this type of milk could do to your body, I don't know if I'm going to follow their medical advice specifically while I'm pregnant. And so that's probably the first step. The second step is that when you purchase the bottle, and that's what happened in this fact, and it says on there, you know, pet consumption. Mm-hmm. If that's what it says on the bottle, and then you have to have a conversation with the 18-year-old that's at the register and says, oh, we just have to put that on there because that's what the law requires, maybe my second red flag for why I may not be drinking this item. So in terms of leg to stand on, yeah, she has a negligence claim, duty, breach, causation, and damages, and it would be a negligence claim based in product liability. I'm suing you because your product didn't do what it was supposed to do. We don't buy a product with the expectation that it would get me sick or kill someone else, but there is an assumption of risk. If you are drinking this product that clearly has a label that is made for pets and not humans, you've assumed some implied risk there, and that will be the defense of the farms, Keely Farms.
Khalif, and I wanted to make sure that I was right on this and it backed up the claim here, but our Health and Human Services Director, Robert F. Kennedy Jr., has publicly endorsed drinking raw milk. In fact, said that it has health benefits. When you're talking about the head of HHS and assuming risk, well, when the head of HHS says this is safe, does that actually go to her claim saying, well, you know what, the government is telling me that raw milk is safe to drink?
She could use that in her complaint, and she can allow that to be as a something that I'm presenting to the trier of fact, to the jury, as to why I believe that I was doing something that was right. But I'd also label him in that same category that I labeled those first influencers. He doesn't have the medical degree. He's not a scientist.
He's the head of the Health and Human Services.
He is. But if I am defending Keely Farms, I'm coming right back out and saying, while he may have that in title, there is no scientific backing behind this individual. And so I'd categorize him as someone else in social media with the title but no scientific backing. If I'm looking at medical, if I'm looking for if I'm, again, representing Keely Farms,
right.
If I'm representing her all day, I'm pointing to him and I'm saying, look, this guy is the director. Who else could I listen to? He is the top person in the country for this type of advice. I can make both arguments. Mm-hmm. I just think the stronger argument, the one that has case precedent, would be that you want the scientists to support the argument. I think if you put this in a trier of facto in front of a jury, put them in the box, I can get someone to believe either one of those arguments, specifically that she was misled, she was misguided, that label didn't mean enough, that I got the person that is in charge of my health in this country telling me that it's okay, not just saying it's okay, but promoting it and encouraging me to drink this. yeah, I'm gonna say that argument is strong. It 100% strengthens her case.
How hard is it to argue cases where you have this, as you mentioned, assumed risk? Many people know that this is different than what you might buy at Publix. I'm thinking back to the assumed risk of drinking hot coffee when that woman got burned by really hot coffee at McDonald's. And of course, people are saying, duh, coffee's hot.
Yeah.
Duh, this has bacteria in it. How hard is it to work through these cases where that is the duh factor, but they still might have some legal ground?
I think it's Keely Farms' requirement, because you would have to point to them for the product liability portion, right? That label that's placed on there that says not for human consumption or for pet consumption, because some of the labels say both. If you're in that situation, the standard is that Keely Farms knew or should have known that people still would have drank it even with the label on there. And if she can prove that yeah, they would have drank it even if that label's there, then they can still be successful in a product liability case. And I think obviously because people are drinking this and they're selling it to people knowing that they are drinking it. If you saw an increase in sales during the same time that you're seeing an increase in social media influencers pumping your product, you should have known that that product is being consumed by folks and not by pets. I think that is what you would be able to point to, and social media allows you to do that. You can point to the raw numbers and say, hey, these videos have, went from 2% of people watching them to 90% of folks watching them. That increase is directly tied to sales. Yeah, you're able to point to those things. I think we're in a place now where technology helps these types of lawsuits. Something like this would have happened in the 50s or 60s. I don't think she would have had the opportunity to be successful. But today, I think clearly an opportunity to be successful.
All right, now Chief Legal Analyst Keely Farms.
Queen City News Plus. Just search Queen City News on your smart TV's app store.